This is sort of my own self-therapy, but and this is how sort of the memory, or what we call clearing the memories, okay? Because um, I've mentioned this before, but when this is your home world, okay, and you have a deeply spiritual, loving relationship with a great living spirit that is in this planet, and this is what makes it so very difficult. It's 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 almost impossible unless I'm deeply in nature with her, where her signals are stronger, which is like a memory light, because my energy just goes way up off the charts. But when I come into any town and any village and any city, all the memory kicks back in of how many billions of people participated in being part of a universe killing process of a living energy biosphere. Okay? Because everybody was acquiring the money that they used in order to pay for the things that they bought, which provides for what they believe in their state of consciousness is how to survive. Okay? Which means they were programmed to believe that without a money system, they have no way to have a relationship with a living biosphere. Even though it's obvious that they don't have a relationship with one. Instead, they have a relationship with something that is parasitic artificial intelligence that has programmed it to be a universe killer. So they participate in a process of killing off the living energies of the planet, and then believing that by doing that, they can go on forever. This is the insanity of it when you're programmed to go in reverse, which basically means I've got to keep draining my own energy in order to maintain what it is I believe I'm aware of, which is myself. That's a state of insanity, and why most of the people on this planet are not sane. Okay? Now, I knew that as a child, believe it or not, because it's like saying, hey, you see that orange tree over there? I'm sitting in a high chair, living in Northridge, California, that back then they still had a lot of orange groves. And I'm realizing that the great living spirit of Mother Earth is giving me free energy, because an orange is energy. Vitamin C. And what does vitamin C do? That's a powerhouse. Okay? That's actually immunity. The immune system loves that stuff. So what you begin to realize is that, hey, I got a relationship with living energy, because living energy, which is a living tree, is giving me something for free. I don't have to pay for this. Wow. Free energy, huh? So when you begin to realize, well, wow, I'm experiencing what love is in living spirit, which is what I am, and that energy within itself, you begin to realize that the energy of the cosmos, from which love is living light, and you realize you cannot create or destroy energy, then it's impossible for me to lose what it is I'm aware of, which is myself. So how did I get hoodwinked into believing that I needed money in order for me to continue to be what it is I'm aware of, which is myself? Because I'm not the matter density program. Wow. Because when I believe that I've got to acquire more of what something is that I'm taking from the planet, in order to continue to believe that I got to do that in order to maintain what it is I'm aware of, which is myself, when the planet itself is giving me something from free. Well, how come it isn't running out of energy? So you begin to realize that the difference between having a relationship with the great living spirit of Mother Earth, which is giving us everything for free, how come we can't do that? right? Because then that would mean we would have to rein in 0 point. Because 0 point is free energy. And it's just as J.P. Morgan, I believe it was, that told Tesla, if we can't put a meter on it, we're not interested. Which means if we can't charge you for the energy that the universe is giving us for free, we don't want to plug into it. So now you begin to realize that if you allow artificial parasitic intelligence to control your electrical system, then it can shut your power off, can it? So when you begin to realize that I'd rather that we be in charge of our own energy system, which means if we are what love is in living spirit, living in the light, which is free energy, because when you are naturally giving away energy and you are thus attracting more of what the light is to go on forever, because you know that's how that works, because you keep getting more back in energy, what it is you are in energy becomes a self-reference point of what 0 point is. Which means 0 point is giving itself back energy naturally because it's what the light is. That's what it means, let there be light, which means let there be love. So that means that we naturally are giving away energy just by virtue of being what it is that we are, which is free energy. That's the purpose of the classroom, because when you realize that when you are living in love and service to others, it means that when you are what love is as 528 megahertz, when you are experiencing the high wave frequency spectrum of what that energy is, we are naturally broadcasting light, which means we are naturally broadcasting love. And when we are naturally broadcasting love, then we're not in fear of anything, because 528 is naturally the absence of 100 megahertz. So that means that 100 megahertz, which is what fear is the vast difference between 528, which is what love is. So when you have something that lives in fear of what love is, and you have something here that is what love is, then that means that that which is in fear of what we are is going to be draining our light, because it can't generate any. So that means in order for love to maintain itself, which is the law on this planet, it means those that are parasiting off of those that are giving away energy for free, which is free energy, which is 0 point, which means we are giving energy back to ourselves by virtue of getting more of what it is that we are that we're doing it with. That means we're a powerful magnet. So when it reaches a point where people are believing that in order for them to sustain what it is that they are, which is by a process in which they are taking more energy out of the planet and not giving anything back, then it means that they're running in reverse, which means instead of becoming what love is in service to others, which means you're getting more energy back by virtue of being what that energy is, the reverse of that is essentially going in reverse, which means the clock, you're going back in time. Which means instead of going forward in speed of the wave, they keep losing light and losing light and losing light, which means they can't see the light in the mirror in front of them. And as a result of that, they don't know where they're going. They cannot see the road ahead of them, which means they don't know the result of their own behavior. So when they're running in reverse speed, which is lower frequency, which means they're draining the light in others, which is draining the light in themselves, then they can't see the light and the road ahead of them. So the biofeedback that the planet gives back to those that do that is what? The level of toxicity that they thus experience in the mirror as a result of the light that is not there. So the planet is sending back a reflection of what they are, which is so much radiation toxicity. So what that means is they are experiencing not being able to get any mineral water without paying a lot of money for it that is delivered to them, because now beings need money in which to acquire the spring water from some source in which it comes. Then you have to believe whether or not that mineral water is true mineral water or doesn't have fluoride in it. How do you know that? You'd have to thus use your money that you acquired through the same process of parasiting off the planet in order to pay somebody to run a mass spectrometer test to it. And then you have to realize, well, is that test true? Is that report that came back to me correct or not? How do I know they're not lying about that in order to get me to believe in a lie? That means I would have to set up a lab of my own and do my own testing. And to run mass spectrometry is an expensive process, which means I got to spend more money that came as a result of parasiting off the girl and the planet, in which I acquire that money through the parasites that represent the money system that was set up on this planet. So you begin to realize that everything that was set up is a financial system, as an economic system, as an educational system, as a political system, was essentially meant to self-terminate itself. Because when you have that many millions and billions of people that are running in reverse, what happens to their biosphere? The biosphere is reflected back to them by the levels of radiation, by the levels of toxic water, by the levels of toxic soil, by the levels of toxicity in the ocean, and everything else that we're now experiencing as a result of the collective behavior of the biosphere, of all the units of consciousness that are here, that engaged in participating in the corporate process in which what was given back to the planet was an enormous amount of a toxic waste stream. That toxic waste stream is fed back to us. That's what biofeedback is in the mirror, which means that is a reflection of who we are, which is experiencing the toxicity that we produced. So we were choosing to produce an enormous amount of toxicity in order to do what? Create so much pain and suffering that we now experience as a result of that toxicity, which does what? Allows for big pharma and the medical industry to charge those customers, which means they're participating in the same process. Which means everybody is participating in the same process to kill everybody else off, which means we're killing all of ourselves off as a result of participating in a corporate system. Okay? Which is why I mentioned before, when you begin to be in alignment with the girl on the planet, which is free energy, and you realize that she doesn't charge us for anything that she gives us, okay, then how come that many people couldn't figure that out to be in alignment with her, in which we're living in love and service to others instead of service to self, which obviously is producing a toxic waste stream from which we experience the toxicity and greater pain and suffering that results from all of the above. And the reason for that is real simple. We were providing food for archons and those that feed on our suffering. So it means that we were not aware that we were actually participating in an energy system that was providing food for parasites. All of which represent, when you look at the Nuremberg Doctrine, as war crimes. And those war crimes were against the native tribes and clans of this planet. Because the tribes and the clans on this planet are Homo sentient sapiens. That's what this is. So I realized that there were millions and millions of beings on this planet that were programmed to kill off our home world. That's where all the rage came from as a child. Because I acknowledge that there is a living spiritual goddess mother in this planet that I have a relationship with. How could that many people not be aware of what they're doing against a great living Mother Earth that is providing everything for us for free? That's where Hermann Goering was absolutely right. How were they able to program so many people on this planet to participate in the same war crimes that you people were perpetuating as a result of the hierarchy that you set up? And he said it very simply: traumatize them, and they will get on their knees. And when they get on their knees, they will participate in the killing off of the living energies of this planet. So that means that the collective consciousness of humanity was participating in the process of killing off a living biosphere. How could anybody expect to get through a Stargate when their speed is so low as a result of experiencing such an enormous amount of toxic waste stream, which becomes a biofeedback that comes back to us that drains all of our batteries? Which means the speed is low. So that meant that an enormous amount of light had to come in here in order to restore the frequencies to help shift and navigate the units of consciousness that we can wake up, which is known as stellar activation, and activate the wake-up process so that for those whose true selves are outside time can, migrate out of the matter body in this density to go home. Because we are what love is in living spirit, which means we are a light spirit body, not the matter body. What keeps us stuck in the matter body is what? Lower density. Staying stuck in the density. So the process of rising at higher speed spins the state of our Merkaba, which is our light spirit body. That higher vibrational speed is what allows the light spirit to exit the matter body, which is why they wanted to keep the light spirit body in the matter body by programming it, so that it would do things that don't serve ourselves in which to stay in the lower frequency matter density body. That's why when you are what love is in living spirit, knowing that you are living in the light of what love is, we are naturally going faster and growing our spirit body, which allows us to see the light in the mirror, which is a reflection of who we are, which means we are in alignment with the girl on the planet, because that's what she is. She's a light spirit body. That's what it means to be in alignment with the teacher in the classroom. We are giving back to her the same love she's giving us. That allows us to be in a high-speed alignment with what love is, which is what she is. Because everything that she gives us is for free. So when we are what love is in living spirit, we're giving off our unconditional love for free. Because that's the natural higher vibration speed that represents what we are, to learn how to be love and service to others, which is what she is, which is graduation. It means your speed is high enough to get through a gate. That's what graduation is. You're able to move through the hyperspeed and the hyperdimensional by filling up more geospace with higher frequency energy, as I showed in that piece of paper. When the waves are closer together, the closer together they are, the higher the rate of the speed. The closer together that they are, the higher the vibrational speed, the more space that you're filling up to expand the universe with more light. That allows the galaxy to spin at a higher rate of speed. Now that you have a higher state of awareness that exists within the galaxy, then the galaxy itself, which is self-aware, that's running at a high rate of speed, and what love is what allows that galaxy to maintain its state of peace, its harmony, and its balance within all the other galaxies that exist within the supercluster. When it's out of balance, what happens? Watch the top. Keep it spinning on its center point. Okay? Go look inside an airplane. See how the top, a gyroscope. I figure most everybody knows what a gyroscope is, right? Guys that are out there that do surveys, okay, that used to use sort of a gyroscope with a string. Spin of the top in an electromagnetic energy field. It wants to maintain its balance and its lift. Right? Center point. Anyway, this is an important day. This is when I remember that, what's his name? I forget. I'm losing my memory at a greater rate of speed, and that's actually a good thing because I don't want to hold anything in memory anymore about what it is I experienced on my timeline here because I'm done with that. I'm done participating with the process of being a part of a corporation that is a parasite in which, as long as they continue to exist, will continue to keep damaging the living energies of this planet. Because that's all it knows how to do. Just take, and take. Okay? So anyway, have a great day. What was his name again? This was an important day. Being in a state of peace, being in a state of calm.